天认识。各位网友，大家好，今天是2020年的9月10号啊，就是昨天呢，毛老人家告别这个世界，做了一件很善的事儿。今天是教师节，非常好的事儿。那么我们今天请到了Michael、尼古拉，还有我们今天的主人公王春燕，代表中国2000万的访民王春燕。那么我们下面呢给那个Michael 和王春燕还有这个尼古拉。
Good evening.
Good evening. 我要问这个 Michael 律师，在这个过去的1年里，由王春燕和这个艾芙蓉、白洁明领导人刘鹤副总理来美国要拦车告御状、喊冤的过程当中，美国政府、白宫、国务院。
During the past year, we have 4 petitioners from China, Wang Chunyan, Ai Fulong, Jin Yehua, and Bai Jieming. They were trying to stop Chinese president's motorcade, and they were caught by the Department of State.
那么，美国的白宫和国务院以美国国家的名义起诉了中国的访民，最痛苦、最贫穷的访民。
The White House and the Department of State, they put them into jail and brought them to the court to try to persecute them.
这样的案子在美国过去多吗？
Do you often encounter this kind of cases in USA?
No, not often. I mean, Nick and I have been attorneys in the United States for almost 25 years and almost 10 years, and these were the first cases we had like this, where people were being prosecuted for exercising their First Amendment rights. We had never seen this before.
我们从来都没有见过这样的案件，就是我们在这里，做律师已经都10年以上了，从来没有看过，没有这样的案件说这些人只是在表达他们的宪法第1修正案允许的权利，然后就会被抓。
那如果美国过去有，未来有，美国会怎么处理？
So, did you ever heard about this case happen before, or in the future, if this kind of case happen again, how the United States government going to deal with it?
Well, I believe that the only reason these cases were prosecuted was because President Trump is the current president here, and therefore the Department of Justice acts on his lead. I don't believe that if anyone else was the president, a case like this, Wong's case or Mr. Bai's case, would have been prosecuted. But I believe the current Department of Justice, the current president, they're assaulting the First Amendment for Chinese citizens and American citizens. But if he was not the president, I don't believe Ms. Wong would have been prosecuted.
我认为呢，会发生这样的案件呢，主要是因为现在是川普总统执政的时候，所以呢才会有这样的事情发生。然后执法部门呢，主要是根据这个川普总统的风向来处理事情。我认为如果川普不再做总统了呢，那就不可能这样的案件会发生。就是说会有人因为只是表达他们宪法第1修正案允许的这个表达的自由，就会被抓去。
那我们知道过去上个世纪60年代，美国的王春燕今天也有什么不同？
So we know Martin Luther King was arrested in 1960s. So what would be the difference between that time and this time?
I mean, I'd like to think that in our country we've come a long way since that time. and I believe we really have. The current time period notwithstanding, but I believe that this is similar, that Martin Luther King was prosecuted and persecuted for exercising his First Amendment rights, for protesting, and that is the same with Miss Wong. She was prosecuted for exercising her First Amendment right. Now, granted, what she was protesting was what is going on in China, but here she was exercising her First Amendment right, and she was still prosecuted for that. So, in a way, as far as we've come, we have a long way to go still.
就是从马丁路德金那个时代到现在呢，就是我希望相信说美国已经进步得很厉害了，已经有很大的进步了。除了目前这一段川普执政期呢，也许是一个例外。那个就是那时候马丁路德金也是因为就是说也是只是在。也是因为这个言论的问题呢，被那个迫害。就像现在王春燕他们呢，也只是因为这个言论自由的问题就被迫害。就是说，他说美国还有很多地方需要进步的。
那么在法庭，我记得 Michael 和尼古拉都说过，今天法庭要审，像我们当年的马丁路德金一样，当时美国的国务院的5位官员，我看他们在 Michael 和尼古拉说过这句话，5秒之内有一点点，然后以后他们肃然起敬，认可了 Michael 和尼古拉。
So during the call, I observed the officials of Department of State when they heard that you compare Miss Wang to Martin Luther King, they were kind of burst out laughing, but only within 15 seconds they became very sober and they nodded their head and looks like they agree to what you said. So why do you think like they were supposed to persecute Miss Wang, but then they kind of came to agree to your opinion?
I mean, I can't speak for them, but I think what Miss Wang did was in the same spirit as what Dr. King did. She risked her freedom to speak her mind, to protest conduct by a government that she thought was undemocratic, was violating her human rights and the human rights of many others. And so I thought it was important to tell the jury that obviously it's not on the scale of Dr. King, but we all can only do what we can do. And Miss Wong is a hero. She was then for speaking her mind, and I thought, we can't forget that, the First Amendment, those aren't just words written on paper. That's something we can act on. Get out there and protest. We're seeing it now that in the current climate here, Black Lives Matters, police misconduct, violation of human rights, because that's what that is. When a police officer holds a gun up on you because of your skin color or shoots you because of your skin color, what could be more violative of human rights than that? And so what Dr. King did, what Ms. Wong did, what we see today in the streets, this is what the First Amendment embodies, the right of the people to be in the street voicing their opinion. And I thought it was important for the jury not just to see this as conduct, running into the street, but protesting violations of human rights. And that's what she did. And I didn't want the jury just to think that she had not committed a crime. I wanted them to know that she's a hero, because she is.
马丁路德金做的事情跟王春燕做的事情呢，只不过是就是程度上略有不同，但是本质上是完全一样的。就是宪法第一修正案呢，不能只是一个文字的东西，就人们还必须把它付诸行动。You make such a long speech, I forgot what you said.
Sorry.
人们还必须把它付诸行动。 来说就是这样。
那王春燕的行动、艾芙蓉的行动、金月花的行动、白洁明的行动，代表中国2000万的访民。
Okay, all four of them, Wang Chunyan, Jin Yehua, Bai Jieming, and Ai Fulong, all four of them, their action speaks for like 20 million petitioners in China, and they are very good representatives of these people in China.
他们的行动，
their action are very justified. 刚才那个 Michael 律师还讲了哈，就是 Can you say again what you say just now? Just sentence by sentence, otherwise I forgot.
Well, what I was trying to say is that, you know, Dr. King, and I hate to only use Dr. King because there were so many thousands of people in the 60s who marched in the streets to protest violation of human rights.
马丁路德金还不只是马丁路德金，有成千上万的人在60年代的时候上街去游行，就是为了这个人权的问题上街去游行。
That's what Miss Wang did. That's what Mr. Bai did.
这是王春燕、白洁明现在在做的事情。
That's what we see in Portland,
这也是我们在波兰
all across the United States
还有
right now,
美国到处
are people protesting the violations of human rights.
都是人民在抗议这个政府的政府的违反人权的那个行为。
And I think what Dr. King and others did in the 60s, and what Miss Wang and Mr. Bai, Mr. I, Miss Jin did now, currently here in Washington, D.C. recently, is emblematic of that same struggle.
他们马丁路德金和他们这4个人现在在做的事情呢，都是非常让人佩服的。
Governments, by their very nature, are oppressive.
政府呢，它的本质呢，就是非常的镇压性。
So it's not only the right of the people, but the responsibility of the people
所以不只是人民的权利，也是人民的责任。
to be in the street, to make sure that human rights are not violated.
去那个上街去抗议，保证他们的人权没有受到侵害。
对。
And so I wanted the jury not just to think about this as a case about someone running into the street.
所以呢，我不要陪审团的人呢，只是把这个案件看成说有些人跑到街上去了。
But as someone speaking out on behalf of many Chinese Americans, Chinese nationals, for their human rights.
是这些人呢，是在美国的中国人，还有在中国的中国人呢，为他们的人权在发声。
And that kind of protest, that kind of actions, it's heroic.
他们的这些抗议行为呢，是非常英勇的。他刚才还说了，他们不仅不是罪犯，而且他们是英雄。
It's more important now than ever.
这个对于目前的历史的这个意义来说呢，就是现在是非常重要的，很有历史意义。
说那个他和Michael 和尼古拉为王春燕辩护的时候呢，在提到马丁路德金，他们没有看到国务院和白宫的官员他们表情的变化，但是在短短的30秒，我看到国务院和白宫官员表情的变化，由一种嘲笑变成一种尊重，这是为什么？
He said you did not saw the change of the expression on the officials from Department of State and from the White House, but I clearly saw the change of the expression in their face, and I know their opinion were affected by you. So why do you think of that?
Well, I mean, we hope that every American believes in what we were presenting from Ms. Wang, because they are principles that should be so dear to every American.
我当然希望就是说每个美国人都相信我们相信的这些东西，因为对我们来说这是很原则性的。
You know, the prosecutors have a job to do when they prosecute someone, but all of us are Americans, and what Ms. Wong was doing is quintessentially American.
检察官呢，他们在例行公事，但是呢，检察官跟我们一样呢，都是美国人。王春燕他们做的事情呢，是符合美国的价值观念的。
And I would say, just to add on to that, though, it's not just American. These are human rights.
他说我还要说，这不只是全人类的。
We see it in the Middle East, the Arab Spring.
我们看到那个阿拉伯之春在中东的这个发生。
We see it in Hong Kong.
在香港。
And then we see it in Portland and all
在波
across
兰。
America now.
然后现在在美国的各个地方。
And this is the people speaking up for
这是人民
their right to be free
这是人民就是为他们的自由在说话。
worldwide.
就是全世界范围都应该是这样的。
那个你问他说，在中国的律师呢，不能与政府对抗。但是呢，他们得按政法委和司法局，否则律师你就是替坏人辩护。
In China, the attorneys are not if they defend someone that the government oppose or want to oppress, it's kind of like you work against the government. The attorneys are not supposed to do that. Otherwise, you are kind of considered to be the enemy of the government.
甚至是在中国叫反党、反国家和反人民。
So the lawyers will be called like you are anti-party, anti-government, anti-Chinese national. Oh.
这几起案子，我要给中国人说，中国人会问你们：难道你们两个美国律师就不怕美国政府修理你们吗？收拾你们，打击你们
might have a question for you, like, are you not afraid of being revenged by U.S. government, being attacked by U.S. government for defending who they are persecuting?
No, I'm not afraid, and it's not because I'm fearless, because I'm certainly not. It's because I do think we still hold certain things sacred here. One of them is
我不怕呢，不是因为说呢我是个很无忌的人，而是说呢我呢认为呢在我们国家呢，我们还是把一些东西当成是很神圣的。
And that is, we have a Bill of Rights that guarantees people the right to counsel.
就是我们人民有起码的找律师的权利。
So here, not only was it our privilege to provide that to Ms. Wong, but we were also defending her First Amendment right to speak and protest.
所以不只是我们的荣幸能够代表王春燕呢，我们也是在我们也是在保护，就是人民能够去 protest 的权利，就是抗议的权利。
记得你们在法庭上辩论时说，王春燕就如同美国的马丁路德金很多的人一样，为什么？
So you compare Miss Wang to Martin Luther King, and you do think Miss Wang is like Martin Luther King. Why do you think that?
Well, as I said to the jury, Martin Luther King obviously is sort of the embodiment of an ideal. And he was obviously not just the embodiment of a deal, he was a great man. But what we learned from him was the power of peaceful protest. And I thought what Ms. Wong did in this case was emblematic of that. And so,
马丁路德金呢，他不只是一个人，他是一些信念，一些信念的一个化身。那么呢，他让人佩服的就是他和平抗议的这种表现出来的这个力量。
And I think it's important here in this day and age, in the United States and everywhere in the world, for us as individual people to speak up.
那么现在呢，不仅是在美国，在全世界，还有在历史的这个阶段呢，就是让人民呢敢站出来发声呢，是非常的有意义，非常重要的。
Because whether or not you're a great man like Dr. King leading thousands, or a single person voicing your beliefs, it's all equally important.
不管是像马丁路德金这样的能够率领几千人上街的人，还是说像王春燕这样的单独的能够去拦车的人呢，他们表现出来的都是很重要的，都是一样重要的。
The greatest fear is silence.
最可怕的是什么都不说。
在王春燕、艾芙蓉、白洁明、金艳花这4起案件当中，艾口和尼古拉。
Among the 4 cases that you represent, which case is the most challenging?
Well, I think they all were very challenging, and as lawyers, I think we have a responsibility to look at each individual as that person with that case. Now, these cases were similar, but to each person, it was the most important thing to them. And we have to embody that.
就是这些案件呢，它有不一样的，就是有挑战性的地方。虽然他们有一些相似的地方，但是作为律师呢，我们要看到这个案子当中的4个个人，然后要能感同身受这4个个人的感受。
在他们过去所代理的美国人的案件当中，也许他们没代理过中国人，美国人代理的案件，中国访民代理的案件，个人内心感觉。
So among the cases that you represent before, you have other clients. Maybe most of them are American clients, and maybe this is the first time you represent Chinese clients like this. So what would you say the difference between these 4 cases and the cases that you did before?
Well, every case is similar because no matter what you're charged with or who you are, where you're from, you deserve the right to a representation, to a defense.
就是不管你是谁，然后你从哪里来的呢？就说你都有权利呢，你都有权利去找律师来代表你自己，为你自己辩护。
But unlike most cases with Ms. Wong, or other cases with Chinese petitioners, we passionately believed in their innocence and the fact that they did not commit a crime.
但跟其他任何他们做过的案件不一样的是呢，他们非常有激情的认为他们根本就没有犯什么罪，他们不是罪犯。
包括白宫指控白洁明把特勤局警察的腿嘎嘣压折了。
Is that including the case of Mr. Bai that the White House accused him of break an official's leg?
Well, Mr. Bai did not. That person, the officer, got injured, and the officer was a good man and was trying to do his job. But Mr. Bai was trying to protest. They got tangled up. Mr. Bai had no intention of hurting anybody, which is why the jury acquitted him.
白洁明呢，他们就是这个官员呢，他是在做他的工作。那白洁明在抗议。那这当中呢，就是有肢体的接触，所以导致他倒下受伤。但是呢，这不是白洁明的意愿。
那在这个未来的这个时光里，中国领导人还要来中国的访民只要他们的问题一天没解决，他们就会依照美国的宪法和其他的法律，接着表达他们的表达自由和言论自由，包括他们继续冲上街上 去拦轿告御状，拦车
In the
告御
coming
状。
days, Chinese leaders are still going to come to the United States. So the petitioners like Ms. Wang, as long as their cases are not resolved and taken care of by Chinese government, they are going to still try to stop the motorcade and to submit their petition letters to Chinese government.
在未来的日子里，这样的现象再次的重复出现。我知道他们没有从中国访民身上赚到一分钱。
In the future, this kind of case coming up again, you know these petitioners are all very poor.
那他们会依然的给中国的访民这样行为的人去继续代理，他们的动力是什么？
Will you still defend for them?
Of course we would. We don't take cases because people are rich or because they're poor. If we believe in the Sixth Amendment that everybody has the right to counsel, and so we would represent anybody. We would tell people to petition lawfully. We don't want to see anybody get arrested. And so we want people to exercise their First Amendment right. We want people to petition. We don't want to see anybody get arrested, so I would tell people don't get in front of the motorcade. Let your voice be heard, loud and clear, but don't do anything unlawful.
我们呢肯定还会再替他们辩护，因为不管他们是穷的还是富的呢，就是有律师是每一个人的潜力。那我们也不希望呢他们做什么违法的事情，然后也不要就是他们也不希望他们受伤啊，还是被逮捕，就希望他们就是在法律的范围内尽管去抗议。
那是一定的。我知道他们在那个
Yes, for sure, they are going to
他
protest
们4个某个人当中的案件当中，也许是白洁明，他们2个那天胜利了以后。
I heard that after you win Mr. Bai's case, in between both of you drink like 100 beers.
Give or take.
That's a false rumor. It's a false rumor. It was less than 100.
他说不多于100瓶，不多于100瓶。
It was less than 100.
那在我们中国人眼里，和那个内心里就是百战百胜。
After each of these wins, we felt a lot of different emotions. We felt, of course, relieved.
我们就是有很多的，我们也是百感交集，我们感到非常的
100个感觉交织在一块儿，跟100瓶酒一样。
And we felt inspired that the jury believed in what we believe is, not only American principles but basic human rights.
我们也感到就是非常被这些陪审团的人员感动，因为他们美国普通人呢，也都是相信这个美国的价值。然后他也感到能够把他的案件赢了呢，对他们也是一种，他们也感到非常高兴，非常轻松。
我唯一遗憾就是美国的法律限制陪审团和律师和我们那个中国的访民一起。
So I just feel regret that American law doesn't allow that we invite all the juries to drink with us.
We wish we could.
他说他也希望能够跟陪审团的人员一起喝酒。
在不远的将来，1个月之内，白洁明、艾芙蓉、金月花来，我们再次的干杯100瓶酒。
So next month, with the other 3 petitioners, they are going to have 100 beers with you.
Let's spread that out over a whole weekend, okay? Not one night.
他说不要100瓶酒，要1个周末把它喝完，不要1个晚上喝完。
Thank you very much.
Thank you, thank you.
Thank you.
谢谢2位。
今天呢，我在美国呢，就是因为拦车告御状呢，我胜诉整整是1周年了1周年。
Today is my anniversary that you won the case for me because I stopped the motorcade.
今天呢非常高兴的见到了我这2位可爱的律师，
I'm so glad
千言
that I
万语
meet my lovely 2 lawyers today.
千言万语也表达不了我对2位律师的感恩之心。
No words can express my gratitude to you.
Yeah. So that honestly, the pleasure and the privilege was all ours. All ours.
他说实际上我也觉得很荣幸和很高兴。
是我这个2位律师对我的相信为我努力我才这个案件才赢得了胜诉。
The belief that you two have in me and the hard work that you did won me the case.
所以我非常感谢我的2位律师，今天在这里我再次谢谢你们。
So I want to say thank you again very much.
It's our pleasure. Our pleasure.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Thank you.